Donald Trump once again has asserted that massive voter fraud was the reason why he lost the popular vote to Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election. This dates back to 2016. Trump has been asserting the election's rigged. He didn't win the popular vote because 3 to 5 million undocumented immigrants voted. People also registered twice, like his own daughter and Steve Bannon and other people associated with him. And he said he would launch an investigation into the matter, again, in spite of there being no evidence to suggest that this is true. In his first meeting in January with lawmakers after being inaugurated as president of the United States, Donald Trump brought it up again, and some of the lawmakers in the room found it a little odd. And then just a few days ago, at a meeting with 10 senators, Donald Trump again brought up this debunked conspiracy theory about 3 to 5 million undocumented immigrant voters. The meeting was supposed to be an effort for the White House to gain bipartisan support for Trump's Supreme Court nominee, Neil Gorsuch. And Donald Trump opted to go completely off the rails, went on a rant about voter fraud. Of course, despite the fact that he won the presidency, continues to talk about it. This is where it gets really weird. Former New Hampshire Senator Kelly Ayotte was in the meeting, and she lost her reelection campaign in November. And Trump at the meeting said, oh, both Kelly Ayotte and I would have won New Hampshire if it hadn't been for thousands of people who were brought in on buses from Massachusetts to vote illegally in New Hampshire. No evidence for this. And one person present at the meeting said that that was followed by what they describe as an uncomfortable silence in the room, because obviously it's all completely made up. And then our new buddy, who channeled Kim Jong-un on the Sunday morning shows over the weekend, Trump's senior advisor, who is 31 years old, Stephen Miller, backed it up on ABC News. Here's what that looked like.
I've actually, having worked before on a campaign in New Hampshire, I can tell you that this issue of busing voters into New Hampshire is widely known by anyone who's worked in New Hampshire politics. It's very real. It's very serious. This morning on this show is not the venue for me to lay out all the evidence.
The president made a statement saying he was the victim of voter fraud, people being bused from Massachusetts and New Hampshire.
The president was.
Do you have any evidence?
If this is an issue that interests you, then we can talk about it more in the future.
Yeah, when Stephen Miller says it's okay to talk about the president's blatant lies, you'll be allowed to talk about them. Wouldn't we have heard about this if it was actually a widely known phenomenon from some source other than the conspiratorial recesses of the internet and Donald Trump, who happens to be president of the United States? It's possible, Pat, it crossed my mind. Maybe it's Stephen Miller who planted this idea originally in Donald Trump's head, because he's the guy who's saying, oh, it's absolutely true, without actually citing any evidence for it.
Right. And what Stephen Miller said there was just horribly unconvincing. I mean, he says that he doesn't have enough time to lay out all of the evidence on a show. But could you just name one piece of evidence, or maybe go back later and put it in the transcript or something, you know? Like, give us something.
Here's another really just bizarre thing, and this goes to the idea that none of this makes any sense. Kelly Ayotte had denounced Trump in 2016, and during this meeting that took place, Donald Trump told Kelly Ayotte he wished that she had campaigned for him, and added, "You'd have won in New Hampshire if you had been on my train." That doesn't make any sense. Trump first said that Kelly Ayotte lost because of voter fraud, thousands of people going on buses from Massachusetts to New Hampshire to vote against her and vote against Trump. But then Trump later in the meeting says, actually, you lost because you didn't support me. So which is it? But again, in the bizarro land of Trump conspiracy theories, it doesn't matter that Trump's two ideas are completely self-contradictory. Also from this meeting, senators said that Donald Trump referred to Elizabeth Warren as Pocahontas again, which is one of his favorite lines from his campaign. This is the president of the United States at a meeting with senators referring to another senator as Pocahontas. It is off the rails, folks, embarrassingly so.